Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. And folks, today it's not hyperbole to say that my next guest is one of the most important people in the whole entire Twitterverse. I do mean it. He is a modest, unassuming man. He's a former writer who has a master in policy. He lives in a modest, unassuming part of the country that is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. And, he could say, you know what? Y'all are crazy. I'm going to retire to this part of the country. With my family, we will survive in the woods like the Swiss Family Robinson with our beautiful dog and live happily ever after. And I definitely do not need BDD dragging me out of my sickbed onto this podcast. But seriously, what he has done is co-create one of the most comprehensive, robust, powerful, democratic grassroots organizations with thousands of volunteers ready to jump into the fray to help push us to victory in November. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the executive director and co-founder of DemCast, my friend Nick Knudsen. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for all the cheering, everybody.
Indeed. So, my friend, you are recovering from the Rona. How are you feeling?
Thank you for asking. I'm feeling better. Everybody seems to have a different presentation of this thing. Mine was some gastro stuff and some just fatigue and then sort of mild flu-like symptoms. It was just kind of a roller coaster mess. But around Sunday of this week, I started to pull out of it, and very happy to be back amongst the coherent in the world.
At any point, was it extreme?
I wouldn't call it extreme. I got my shots. I got my booster. So and that's why we do those things.
Indeed.
At worst, it felt like a mild flu, but it knocked me out for about a week. Yep. You did do your homework.
So this picture, you guys, this picture is from like 2 years ago, I think it was, and yep. Nick was feeling lazy. He says, but the kids are swarming. He says, happy Saturday. Hope you all fit in some fun today. And I know how that is with the kids swarming especially when it's Saturday. Saturday is like my late wake up day. You just want to chill. What is an example of your typical dad duty things?
Oh, taking the kids to sports practices. My daughter and son both run track. She's in middle school. He's still in elementary, but we have him in sort of early running stuff. He does soccer. They both did cross country in the fall. So, that kind of stuff.
Do you have experience with track yourself?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, I didn't. I was a terrible athlete in school. I didn't actually. I was actually pretty overweight. When I was younger, I sort of took it upon myself to lose a bunch of weight in late high school, just by going to the gym a lot, and my sister helped me. So I got into running at that point, but just not like running fast. I've never been a very fast runner, but I do it. I exercise to keep my body in shape and to stay healthy.
The physical fitness is important. I understand, especially being able to stave off the worst symptoms of the Rona. Like if you had been tanning your testicles, my friend, you might you might you might
It's
not
the
have
stuff
gotten
of
the
nightmares.
Rona. Dude, what the hell is happening? What is happening in this world? I turned on the Twitter. What was it? Was it Saturday or Sunday? I opened up Twitter and I saw a video, and I thought, we're being pranked, right? Somebody like photoshopped or whatever. It's like a spoof on Tucker Carlson. No, it was real. It's real. What is happening on that side? What are they doing?
I don't know. I just don't know. There's apparently some constituency for it. I don't understand it, but
it's crazy. It's crazy. But another thing that is crazy is that the other day. Oh wait, here is a picture of you with your. This was your first booster shot.
Yep.
Yeah. So we just learned yesterday that was it yesterday, the day before, a federal judge overturned the mask mandate. And so obviously when it happened in mid-flight for a lot of people. People had boarded the plane, and the mask mandates for public transit, those mandates were still in effect. So halfway through, they made an announcement, and everybody just took off their mask like everything was everything.
Right.
How do you feel about that, especially having just come out of, having had a bout with COVID yourself?
I would have been really pissed if I was on one of those planes. Not because I'm like really scared of COVID for myself, but because I know that there are people who are immunocompromised. There are young children who are still not able to get vaccinated, and the people who signed up for those flights did so assuming that they were going to be able to that everybody was going to have their masks on, and that they would be protected in that way. And so, I really disagreed with that decision to change it mid-flight. There should have been some kind of waiting period. Or period where people got to reassess whether or not they wanted to take the flight, given the new masking guidelines. But yeah,
indeed. So here's where I am on the whole masking thing. We have witnessed 2 years of grown ass adults, just acting like they don't even know how to act. You can't take them anywhere anymore. Yep. Grown folks acting a fool on a plane. They're being asked to just wear a mask, protect your fellow rider, and they're having to be restrained. And so, we've tried multiple ways of doing it. We've asked nicely. We've educated. We've showed videos of what happens when you're masked and what happens when you're not masked. Here's where the science lands. And then they brought down the mandates. Like, okay, if you won't willfully do it, then boom, here you go. Here's a mandate. And then they screamed even more. So, me personally, I've just been kind of mentally preparing myself for moving forward from pandemic to endemic. And it's just me. Yeah. It's just me. Yeah. I've started taking my mask off when I go to a big supermarket. Would I do it in an elevator with like 15, 20 people? Probably not. In fact, I still haven't. I just watched Batman, the new Batman movie, home. Normally, in normal times, I'm in the theater the first weekend it's out. That's me. I'm like an addict. I love a full theater. I love the electricity, I don't know what I'm going to do about Doctor Strange. That's coming out next week.
I know. Yeah, there's some good Marvel movies coming up. Yeah, no, that opening scene of the Dustin Hoffman movie Outbreak, which has a movie theater where the spit molecules fly out of the guy's mouth and it lands in everybody, and then they all get sick. I mean, that ruined movie theaters for me at this point. It's hard to imagine a time where I'm like, I want to go maskless into a movie theater again.
Indeed.
But, everybody's got to make their own choices at this point.
So I've seen you post these pictures more than a few times. This is is this your like backyard?
Oh gosh, I wish. It's close though. So my parents, uh, uh, to retire, they bought a house up on Puget Sound, so that's actually their backyard. But I go up there
Oh,
as
okay.
frequently as I can. I'm in Portland here.
Forgive my ignorance. Puget Sound, is that in Seattle? Is that
Yes,
in
yeah, their
Washington
their
State?
place is north of Seattle. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
yeah. But I want to ask you about Portland, Oregon, because frankly, I don't know much. How about this? Is this Portland?
yeah. I
It's
think that's
also Puget Sound.
it's nearby. I think that's in the Columbia Gorge, which is pretty close. Yep.
So I have this picture of you, right? Like I've known you for years now, but I always have this picture of you like you're a rugged outdoorsman. Every time I see you, you're outside, in the woods or by the beach,
Yep.
What is Portland like? Because all I know about Portland is from the show Portlandia.
Put a bird on it. Yep.
These bizarre artisanal people,
Yep.
That's all I know about Portland. Are folks like that?
Yeah, there is some truth to that show. I mean, I think any major liberal city that you go to is going to have some contingent of Portlandia type characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
We might have a higher proportion here in Portland. There's a saying here: "Keep Portland weird." It's been around for a long time, and the community embraces it. And I think we also, even because of some of the media that's out there, have come to attract people who might be a little bit more alternative. But that's, it's good. We've got a diverse city in that sense. We've got a very non-diverse city racially and ethnically. Which is, it's changing, but changing slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some truth to the Portlandia, but there are also like a bunch of, just more kind of outdoorsy people. We're sandwiched right between, we're right at the cross section of the Columbia and the Willamette rivers in Oregon. We've got the beaches are about 80 minutes away, beautiful northwestern beaches out at the ocean. We've got Mount Hood about an hour away for skiing and hiking and snowshoeing and all the things that you could want. So we've got, and the Columbia Gorge, which you showed a picture of, we've got access to a lot of outdoors stuff here that's very nearby. And I feel perpetually lucky about that because, I know I've lived other places and I know that's not the case for a lot of people.
So you would consider yourself more of an outdoorsy kind of guy? Because I'm not. I'm not. I'm a little ashamed to admit it. I don't go out hiking as often as I probably should. I know it's healthy. It's healthy to do. I'm just like I'm a pandemic couch potato.
I'll say it's easier when you have like ridiculously beautiful places to go that aren't that far away.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more motivating. I was never much of a hiker when I, for instance, lived in Austin. There's some very pretty places in hill country in Texas, but it's not the same. Yeah.
Let me ask you about. So when I first met you, this was some years back. I want to say it was probably 2017.
Yep.
Right. It was new in the resistance. You were at the time a writer for Huffington Post, right?
Yep.
A contributing writer. I'm saying a writer. You wrote some pretty nice articles. You had this one here: America is sinking, and only the people can rescue it. Here's how. And this, this is you, in my opinion. This has always been you. Like you are always looking to improve America, how it's run, how things happen. The ship is taking on water. Systems are in disarray. Communications are down. If we argue right now about which island to go to, we'll be arguing as the ship sinks into the cold, dark waters of the night. We'll never see any island. So we are left with a choice. Do we, the passengers and owners of the vessel, band together to save the ship, or do we keep arguing about which island to steer toward? Hopefully the answer is obvious. Now, that reads like, I would say, like an opinion piece more than a factual thing, but
Yeah.
it's nonetheless it's no less important. I think. Do you still do writing like that?
Yeah, a
Nowadays?
bit. Not as much as I need to get back to the sort of longer narrative form. Most of my writing these days is on social media, because
Hmm.
that's kind of the direction I steered toward with in terms of career and activism, especially after the 2018 midterms, because social media is so important and so impactful, for shaping the narrative in this country. And but that particular piece that you were looking at there, that's cool. I haven't seen that one in a while. I should go back and read it, but it's as true today as it was then.
It's evergreen. Yeah.
We're until we fix the democracy, and figure that out, we are going to continue to sink. and
Indeed.
and so we need to keep the pro democracy movement as united as possible until that gets done, and then we can dive deeper into our sort of policy disputes about
Yeah.
sort of how we should live and what this country should look like from a federal policy perspective.
This is another article you wrote. Memo to the Resistance. Label Trump. I thought this was also fantastic. You're an excellent writer, by the way. Excellent writer. Here's a clip that I pulled out, which I think is also evergreen. The right is historically much better at strategic labeling of prominent figures than the left. An effective label can wiggle into the subconscious and plant a key impression that becomes a filter for all future information. It is instructive to reflect on how brilliantly Trump's label crooked damaged Hillary Clinton's brand. This moniker, unfair as it was, poked Clinton in just the right spot. Nick, why are we so bad at that kind of branding?
Well, I think there's a few things. One, we have a very different communications apparatus than the right does. And some of that is because we haven't built what we should build, and some of it is because we refuse to act in the way that they act. So they are willing to lie and spread propaganda to achieve their ends, and that enables them to build an infrastructure, and has enabled them to build an infrastructure, a propaganda infrastructure, where there can be a top line message delivered by a Donald Trump or a Tucker Carlson that all of the different pieces of the media apparatus will immediately latch onto and and parrot, and then that then filters down into to sort of their digital army online, their social media army, who continues to parrot it, and then it becomes a thing, and it starts to do that. That earworm starts to implant itself into the minds of people who are casually paying attention.
And regardless if something is true or false, it's irrelevant at that point because it's out there. It's a thing.
It's already in there. Yep. And that's it. So it's a really tough thing to fight against, and we just don't have that on our side, and we don't want that on our side. We don't want propaganda,
Right.
but we do need to build better infrastructure, and I think just like everything on our side, from unions to civil rights movement, everything that's good that has come out of our side has been grassroots up, and so I think that's ultimately that's what the answer is for us, is by people taking it upon themselves to be messengers, and not hoping that some magic messaging angel will send down a magical message from the sky that solves everything. It's going to take work and activism.
When you say building an infrastructure, what can you break down what you mean by that?
Yeah. So there's a couple different pieces, and one of them is we need a more robust media infrastructure on our side, and there are some great groups that are working on that. Heartland Signal and Courier News, trying to build up Midas Touch,
Mm-hmm.
just people who are trying to build up more of a personality and organizationally driven media infrastructure, from sort of news, retaking local news like Courier's doing, to owning narratives and having conversations like this, like what you're doing. So that's really
Right.
important. The other thing that's really important in terms of infrastructure is all the people. So I think, yes. So when a message travels, when Ben Shapiro posts something on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people will see that, or when Tucker Carlson says something on Fox, a lot of people will hear that.
Right.
But not everybody. They aren't connecting to 250 million Americans. They
Right.
need people to spread that content, and to interact with their content online. And there's a lot of people who are willing to do that on the right. On the left, we've tended to treat our social media engagement as a
A guilty
different,
pleasure.
a guilty pleasure, a place for conversation, sort of a town square. It's
Yeah.
not a town square; it's a battlefield. Like
Yes. God
people
damn.
are intentionally spreading disinformation, and we have to be more responsible and more strategic with how we're using our own social media accounts to
Mm-hmm.
counter that disinformation. And so this is something where everybody can have a part in it. If there's a PAC that creates an ad and then they pay to put that ad in front of people, that's one way that you can get sort of messaging out.
Mm-hmm.
If that ad is, instead of appearing in somebody's Facebook feed as an advertisement, if it instead comes from a former college roommate or an uncle, or just somebody in an individual's personal social network, it's just
Mm-hmm.
going to be, they're going to pay attention to it more. They're going to take it more seriously.
Right. Right.
And so we all have a part to play, and that's why we founded DemCast in 2019, and what we've been trying to help do is empower people to use their social media accounts strategically.
Is Facebook still important? An important battlefield to to get into and level. I think we got clobbered in the past, in 2016, definitely in Facebook. I don't know. Are we still lagging far behind?
Oh yeah, it's Facebook. Facebook's so tough because the right owns it, in terms of narrative.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm is inherently, I think, constructed to boost right-wing narratives,
Interesting.
and so it's really hard to get our message out on that platform because there are so many structural deficiencies that we have.
Mm.
There are some big pages, like Occupy Democrats or Other
Yeah.
98 that are, and others that are doing messaging work on there and have a lot of reach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I tend to think that the strategy for engagement on social media platforms is a little bit different depending on which platform you're on. And I tend to think that on Facebook, because it's so right dominated, if you're wanting to do social media activism on that platform, actually going in and replying to the right wing stuff with disruptive memes and facts is as important or more important than just sharing native content, because
Really?
that's where a lot of the disinformation is spreading, is on that
Ah.
platform.
Ah. Yeah. That is it's funny. It makes perfect sense. In my brain, it would never occur to me to do that. It just wouldn't. I don't care. When I sometimes interact with right wing is with like Ted Cruz
Right.
or Marjorie Taylor Greene when they say something boneheaded and stupid. But like, Joe Blow, who's got, 50 followers or whatever, the only time I'm interacting with them is if they're talking shit on one of my tweets. Then I'm like,
Right.
yeah. But
And
yeah, I
I
think you're
think
absolutely right.
I think it's good to algorithmically, it's good to leave the little guys alone for the most part, because by interacting with them, you're just going to boost them up because they don't have very much reach. But if there's a Shapiro post or a Carlson post or something on Facebook that's getting a lot of traction, getting in there, getting into those replies and trying to mix things up a little bit can make sense.
I hope you don't think I'm rude as I'm looking off the screen here, because this is live and we have a lot of comments going on here. Lee Saunders says she can't be arsed with Facebook. It's a bore. This is interesting here from our friend Claudia, who says the Dems need their own version of Q. Agree or disagree?
I got to disagree.
Q is like the disinformation, right?
It is the disinformation. I appreciate, and I batted that one around myself, Claudia. I gotta admit, but I don't think that killing disinformation with more disinformation is going to help, because disinformation is there to confuse people and to muddy the waters. And if we start spewing our own disinformation, then they're going to be able to point back at the falsehoods that we're spewing, and they're just going to get more supercharged with calling us with projecting, which is what they're so good at.
Here's what I think we do need. We do need some kind of mixture where we have the same relentless intensity that the QAnon group has. That relentless intensity to engage with the opposite side and hit them back, right? But not going as far as just spreading, blatant disinformation, but, using that intensity to say, you know what, you're an idiot and here's the real deal, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's a lot of what we try to do in DemCast is use social media strategically as a form of activism. We each have our own bullhorn, and we have to think about how we use that most effectively. We try and help people do that.
Now, I want to jump over to.
Oh man.
We did this thing. I want to say this was it was 2020. Shit.
Well, this is your COVID beard shave challenge.
Oh, this was the COVID beard thing, right? But we also did. Hang on. We also did the Iron Stash, right? The Iron Stash thing. So,
Stash Bound.
Stash Bound, correct. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you started that. Am I wrong? Did you start that? Stash Bound, and was that 2018?
Yep. Yeah, it was the midterm year. So Randy Bryce was running against Paul Ryan, and we wanted to make sure that Paul Ryan lost. And so we did, me and Brooklyn Dad and gosh, who else was in there? It's been so long.
Carrie Pennebaker.
Carrie Pennebaker. Ricky Davila.
Ricky Davila. Yeah.
Yep.
So Scott Dworkin.
Yep. So we all grew our beards out, and then once we got to what I think it was $25,000 raised. For Randy Bryce, we said that we would shave our beards into a Randy Bryce stash and post it online.
That's right. And you know what? I actually have video.
Of course you do. You've been digging up everything. All right, let's see it. God, look at how little gray there is in that.
All right, here we go.
Look at that.
There goes the beard. This is for democracy.
Oh wait, did I lose that?
Uh-oh. Oh, there it is.
Oh boy.
There's the goatee version.
The goatee.
Midway.
And then I'm just gonna fast forward.
Yep.
You took everything
go with
off.
The Randy Bryce chevron stash.
Oh boy.
All right. Some beard remnants on the sides. All right.
That's
Dude,
Nick with the stash. That's hilarious.
You rocked that mustache.
I guess.
Are
so.
you ever going to go back to that mustache only? No.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm a beard guy. I'm a Northwest outdoor beard guy. But
okay, so here's before, and there's after. There's a clean shaven. You can't do the clean shaven, huh?
No. You know what? I hate shaving. That's what it comes down to. I just hate shaving. So I've just ever since like first year of college, I've pretty much had a beard.
I gotta say, so that experience, when I look back, it is a little bit cringe for me.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit cringe, and I don't even like using the word cringe, but it was also my first time.
Hey Nick.
It was my first time participating in anything like that. You got me involved in the political process in a fun way, and it was a way it was community. It was me, you. Here, I actually have another video that I'm sorry if this is also cringe, but here it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can see the split screen.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
We don't have long to reach our fundraising goal for Randy Bryce.
We're gonna need to bring on some heavy hitters.
You must mean the woman.
Oh man.
Remember?
Surely will help.
Wow.
Randy Bryce will work hard for the people of Wisconsin, not some Kansas billionaires.
Paul Ryan's PAC made $500,000 from the folks for his big giveaway to the rich.
Wow.
He also took $175,000 in NRA donations to make sure that we would never debate sensible gun legislation in the House.
Randy Bryce never sat around college keggers talking about how to take Social Security away from the elderly.
That's the same Social Security that Paul Ryan used to pay for college. Go figure.
While Paul Ryan has been working to demolish our social safety net and healthcare, Randy Bryce has been building America.
So that's a real throwback, huh?
Crazy. The production value would be so much better now if we did that.
But now, was that before DemCast or after?
Yeah,
that was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I loved that. And then when did you launch this thing, this DemCast? When did that happen?
So after the 2018 midterms, when we really banded together and used people power on social media to spread messaging about House races and Senate races, and saw the crazy sort of impressions that we were getting and reach that we were getting, donations we were getting, we decided, okay, we gotta formalize this somehow. So Lori Coleman and I, started drafting up what could this look like organizationally, and founded in August of 2019 was when we formally founded. So 2020 was our first election cycle.
What made you start that? I mean, it's not like starting a DM room. It's a major thing. It's major.
Yeah. No, we have that. And sorry, I keep looking down here. I'm just, before I get into that, this is Lulu.
Oh,
we just got Lulu like 2 days ago. But she's feeling very frisky right now. So anyway, she's going at my feet. So
dude, that is awesome. We do love our audience here. We do love the kittens. Yeah,
the kittens.
Elise Saunders.
So anyway, now I lost what I was saying. So I was talking about.
I was asking you what made you decide to do this tremendous undertaking.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of back to that article that you showed. Is we have to fix the democracy, and the people are the ones who have to do it. And if you acknowledge the fact that social media is a battlefield, then you need foot soldiers on the battlefield, and you can't just, if you just expect people to fight on that field without giving them the resources and the tools to do it in a smart way, then it's going to be chaos, which is what it's been. So the idea of DemCast is just to help people give tools to people so that they can use their social media accounts strategically, so that we can get messaging out.
You did a fantastic job. First of all, would you say that DemCast that half of DemCast is contained in the website? Would you say like the website is that crucial to the organization of DemCast?
We actually have two websites. We have DemCastUSA.com, which is a basically a content portal for grassroots content. So we share things like newsletters from indivisible groups and op-ed content from people, from activists on the ground, and that's a really important part of our. It's basically a value statement that we wanted to make sure that people could get their content out there, and their perspectives out there, and provide them the platform to do that. So that's what that site is for. And if you like to write, then contact us at admin@demcastusa.com, or go to the website. Yeah.
This is your web address right here, and
yep.
This website is fantastic. So I just want to show something how this works, right? Let's go to Georgia, right? Okay. And there's a bunch of different articles here. Nick, you're going to have to show me, where is it? There's a section on this website that gives you like ready-made tweets that are already put together. Where is that?
So actually, that's on our other one.
It's not on this one anymore?
No, I think we moved it over.
Okay.
So we because we're an activist organization, people were sort of we originally just had DemCastUSA.com as our main portal for the organization, but people were getting lost because it looks like a news site, which it is.
Dense,
It's a news and content site, but they weren't getting to the activism piece. So then we started DemCast.com.
Okay.
So DemCast.com is basically our activism portal. So if you're wanting to join and use your voice strategically, then DemCast.com is the place to go. And it's on that site in the up at the top. There's social media toolkits link that you can go to, and that's where a lot of our sort of pre-created content is that you can share through your social feed very easily, one or two clicks.
Now, another thing, hang on. Another thing you had me involved in was the Focus 14 thing, right? And this was the one where you got to adopt a state, right? I didn't adopt Florida. I think I adopted, I think it was South Carolina. I'm not taking responsibility for Lindsey Graham, man. He cheated his way back into office. But this was a clever concept where people could get to adopt a state that they didn't necessarily live in, and they took responsibility for messaging about that state, about debates or registration drives and stuff like that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and so we're planning on doing something similar for the midterms here, and we would have actually had it up on the site already, but then Putin declared World War III, and a Supreme Court justice retired, so we got a little sidetracked. But very shortly on the DemCast.com site, you'll see an opportunity to sign up for what we're calling Mobilize for Midterms, and we're gonna have a couple different buckets of ways that people can get engaged. One is if you want to focus on Senate races. There's some key Senate races this year. If you want to focus on keeping the House, we'll have sort of a package and way that you can join to sort of adopt those races. And then we're category we're calling Protect Democracy. There are some very, very, very key gubernatorial and Secretary of State races that are going to be that are not going to get the attention that they need from people, because folks are going to be focused on making sure that Warnock wins, or trying to unseat XYZ terrible
The
Ron
senators
Johnson
and the governors.
right
Yeah.
right so like Gretchen Whitmer's up for re-election, Tony Evers in Wisconsin, and these are going to be the people when it comes down to it in 2024 who are going to be able to stop state legislatures from overturning election results, because these are states that are generally dominated by GOP in the state legislatures, and they're going to try. So, so these Secretary of State and gubernatorial races are really important. So we'll have a way, if you're really interested in helping to support advocacy around that, we'll have an outlet for you.
How do we pump up the urgency on those in particular? Do we just come straight out and say, yeah, these are the people who are going to be counting the votes and in charge of the counting of the votes? Pretty much.
Yeah, we just got to say it out loud, right? I mean, and say it with the let people know why it's urgent, and remind people that as we'll see in May when they do the public hearings for January 6th, like there was an armed insurrection. There's a slow moving insurrection that's continuing to happen in state legislatures across this country, where they're passing restrictive voting laws and passing laws that'll enable them to overturn election results if they're still in power in 2024. So it's do or die, and these are key. These are states like Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania. Really key to and Nevada. I mean, just key to the 2024 map. These are the places where we have to win. So
indeed. Another thing that DemCast has been up to is this initiative. I believe you're calling it the Digital Front. It's fighting Russian disinformation. What's the idea behind fighting? How do you fight against disinformation from Russia?
Well, initially when basically, I mean, Putin's always trying to use propaganda to sway Western countries and people within his own country. And so, you knew that a propaganda war was going to be a big part of his plan when this invasion happened. So we have a digital infrastructure. So we said, okay, well, this is Ukraine is basically a proxy war for democracy, for Putin. And so, we need to be all hands on deck here and help to stave off the propaganda coming from Russia. It's turned out that it's, the outpouring of support for Ukraine was so overwhelming that Putin has had a really hard time breaking through to Western markets outside of Tucker Carlson and a few other people who I assume is just completely bought and paid for. But that was just initially, and as you've seen, like Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, and the Final Four happens, and we're people are starting to lose attention a little bit on the Ukraine stuff, and so the idea of building a team is just to have a lasting presence where we're paying attention to narratives that are coming out of Moscow. Proactively trying to refute them, but also just more than anything, just trying to keep the Ukrainian narrative in the public, zeitgeist, and make sure that people are still paying attention.
How many active members do you have in DemCast right now? I'm assuming you have active members and like reservists, like how they do in the Army. People like, I'm only active when you call me up and say we got to go, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I'd say that we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 30,000 people that we can activate on with a text or an email for a particular initiative, and then a much broader, like you're saying, a much broader group that's sort of peripheral, who know who we are, who track our activities and jump in when they feel like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Excelente. I have here a tweet from you from early this year, January. When we vote, we win. When we win, they cheat. When they cheat, we organize. When we organize, we vote. When we vote, we win. I just think that's a chef's kiss, so well constructed tweet. That's amazing. How'd you do it?
Well, it's just true, right? I mean, that's the progression. It's like, and it's this circle. It's this never ending circle where, the more we win, the more agitated they are that they're, white, supremacist autocratic movement is failing, and they stop at nothing to try and reverse the trend, and then so they come up with whatever the new thing is, and this year it's CRT and these culture wars that are in the public sphere right now, and so we have to adapt and organize around that. But more than that, countering what they're doing is important, but organizing to win, people want to join a team because it's a winning team, and because that team has a message and a vision, and so trying to organize around a vision for what this country could be, and not solely focusing on the other side's continuous bullshit is really important.
Yeah. Do you ever feel burnout from like focusing on politics so often in your life? Do you ever feel like, God damn, I'm just like, fuck this shit?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's nonstop, and the hopelessness can get to you if you let it, because I hate to break it to everybody, but they're still winning. I know we won the election in 2020, but just at the presidential level. Pretty much every other level we did not. And so Trump lost, but Trumpism is alive and well. And so, I just, anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, I just think about, my kids and the country that I want them to grow up in, and the world that I want them to grow up in, preferably one that's not melting. And I, put on my big boy pants and get out there.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. Nick, we are now at that part of the show where we have the Twitter tips and tricks. And this is your expertise. You've been on Twitter for a good while, and this is where you get to share some little neat little tricks that you've picked up along the way, things that help people to tweet better, get better impressions, better interaction, more pop, more singing, whatever. What do you got?
Good question. So a lot of times people ask me, like, how can I grow my account? How can I grow my impact? And there's some sort of tactical stuff and some philosophical stuff. I mean, just from a content perspective, people like to share and reshare and interact with things that they have an emotional reaction to. So making sure that your content, even if let's say you have a news article, it's like, oh my God, everybody in the world should read this. This is terrible, or this is great, or really interesting, or whatever. Just making sure that in addition, you don't just repost the article with the headline at the top, like they do. If you click the share button from a news site, right? Like, erase all that stuff that they put in there and do your own spin on it, and add something that's kind of a hook for people. It's like, here's why you should care about this. Here's why this is important.
Okay.
Here's why this impacted me and made me want to share it.
An emotional hook.
Emotional hook is really, really important. The other thing that people kind of don't usually understand, because it's not necessarily intuitive, or if you don't focus on social media for your living, then maybe you just don't know. But there's this algorithm on social media platforms that that puts your content in front of other people, and puts other people's content in front of you.
Right.
And so it's all about what content you interact with and who interacts with your content, whether or not your stuff moves. So if you're trying to grow an account and sort of get more eyeballs on your stuff, I see a lot of people who almost entirely just quote tweet other people's content. And quote tweeting is great, especially if you have something really substantive to say, sort of on top of what the post is that you're resharing. And so I'm not saying don't quote tweet, but the problem with just quote tweeting is that you had, let's say I have 1,000 followers. When I quote tweet, that content is just going to be seen by people that I follow. It might be seen by auxiliary or people who follow me. Sorry, it might be seen by some auxiliary other group of people, but probably not very many if I don't have a huge account.
Right.
So I think a good way to sort of grow is to get in the comments sections of other people's content. So come to my account or Brooklyn Dad's account or Lawrence Tribe or somebody who you like to follow, and take those things those insights that you were doing in the quote tweet and actually put them in the replies. Because
interesting,
the people who if I have 1,000 followers, that's my audience. Lawrence Tribe has an audience of, I don't know how many followers he has, 800,000, something like that.
Yeah.
All those people are going to be looking into the comments under his tweets. And so you can find a whole lot of new people, not just the people who already follow you, but new people by putting your insights into comment sections. So
if this was a meme, you would say replies greater than QT, right? Replies are better than tweet.
I think it's both, and I think it's both. It's good to have original content on your page. When you reply to Lawrence Tribe, that's not going to show up when somebody goes to your profile, unless you retweet your reply, which you can do too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you want to boost something, like retweet, and comment. Boost it into the algorithm.
So your tweets are getting memed now. That's how you guys. That's how you know when you've arrived, when they start memeing your tweets. This one says, Trump could have gotten an infrastructure bill done. He had the votes, but here's the thing: Republicans don't believe in governing. Helping people is last on their to-do list. And I think the way this meme is constructed is very good. It's got your picture in there. It's got 3 tiers of colors and 3 tiers of like a progressive thought there. It's really, really well done. But the tweet is excellent too. And there, embedded in there, is your reason to care, right? That emotional,
right.
The emotional hook is Republicans don't believe in governing, and helping is last on their to-do list. So that's very well done. Here's another one. For over 2 centuries, Americans struggled, fought, and died to secure the right to vote. Now the Republican Party is openly laying the groundwork to take over the electoral process so that the will of voters can be undone. This is the most un-American thing a party can do. And when I read this, I get angry at the end of your tweet. And I'm like, God damn, you're right.
They are un-American.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those two tweets effectively highlight the things that you were saying. The emotional tweet, it doesn't reflect the replies, but that's an excellent point you made.
But as far as those are good examples of like what's an effective message, and yeah, it's that emotional hook. It's making a point, and I don't do shout into the void stuff a lot, like the Ted Cruz is such an asshole, retweet if you agree, type of stuff. Which also is a hook. It's like, yeah, I hate Ted Cruz too. I'll retweet that. Right? But I tend to try and add something that's like an important narrative point for our side, which is like these people are fucking un-American.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So Nick, we are now at the quick hits part of the show.
Nice.
And this is typically where we discuss what's happening in current events. And I came across this. Says building the liberal message network. And it made me think of the messaging that's happening on the right. They are batshit crazy. We should be running away with every poll imaginable. Democrats are the party of responsibility. We're the party of adults, but I guess they like this frat mentality of the Boebert and Gates and Cawthorn, all of those knuckleheads. But for some reason, the shit that they are doing is sticky. It's effective. The goddamn the grooming thing. You got oh shit, am I echoing? You have DeSantis doing the what is this? The Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, or the Stop Woke Act. And it wasn't until yesterday. Yesterday was the very first time in a very long time that somebody stood up. This was State Senator McMorrow, right? She stood up and she put it so eloquently and so powerfully. I just want to share that little bit with you and the audience here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Wait. That's not right. Let's see. Share. Give me a second here. Let me just share that window. There we go.
I didn't expect to wake up yesterday to the news that the senator from the 22nd district had overnight accused me by name of grooming and sexualizing children in an email fundraising for herself. So I sat on it for a while wondering why me. And then I realized, because I am the biggest threat to your hollow, hateful scheme. Because you can't claim that you are targeting marginalized kids in the name of, quote, parental rights if another parent is standing up to say no. So then what? Then you dehumanize and marginalize me. You say that I'm one of them. You say she's a groomer. She supports pedophilia. She wants children to believe that they were responsible for slavery and to feel bad about themselves because they're white. Well, here's a little bit of background about who I really am. Growing up, my family was very active in our church. I sang in the choir. My mom taught CCD. One day, our priest called a meeting with my mom and told her that she was not living up to the church's expectations and that she was disappointing. My mom asked why. Among other reasons, she was told it was because she was divorced and because the priest didn't see her at Mass every Sunday. So where was my mom on Sundays? She was at the soup kitchen with me. My mom taught me at a very young age that Christianity and faith was about being part of a community, about recognizing our privilege and blessings and doing what we can to be of service to others, especially people who are marginalized, targeted, and who had less, often unfairly. I learned that service was far more important than performative nonsense like being seen in the same pew every Sunday or writing Christian in your Twitter bio and using that as a shield to target and marginalize already marginalized people. I also stand on the shoulders of people like Father Ted Hesburgh, the longtime president of the University of Notre Dame, who was active in the civil rights movement, who recognized his power and privilege as a white man, a faith leader, and the head of an influential and well-respected institution, and who saw black people in this country being targeted and discriminated against and beaten, and reached out to lock arms with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he was alive, when it was unpopular and risky, and marching alongside them to say, "We've got you," to offer protection and service and allyship to try to right the wrongs and fix injustice in the world. So who am I? I am a straight, white, Christian, married, suburban mom who knows that the very notion that learning about slavery or redlining or systemic racism somehow means that children are being taught to feel bad or hate themselves because they are white is absolute nonsense.
Thank you.
No child alive today is responsible for slavery. No one in this room is responsible for slavery. But each and every single one of us bears responsibility for writing the next chapter of history. Each and every single one of us decides what happens next and how we respond to history and the world around us. We are not responsible for the past. We also cannot change the past. We can't pretend that it didn't happen or deny people their very right to exist. I am a straight, white, Christian, married, suburban mom. I want my daughter to know that she is loved, supported, and seen for whoever she becomes. I want her to be curious, empathetic, and kind. People who are different are not the reason that our roads are in bad shape after decades of disinvestment, or that healthcare costs are too high, or that teachers are leaving the profession. I want every child in this state to feel seen, heard, and supported, not marginalized and targeted because they are not straight, white, and Christian.
Okay. Good Lord. I mean, I wish she had a big ass like handheld microphone and just dropped that shit and walked off. It was beautiful.
Get the chills.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. Yep.
And you know, I often wonder, I wish that we had some politicians who right now could step out and speak about the grooming and the don't say gay thing and ask a Republican, what do you propose to do with an 8-year-old student whose parents are same sex? Are they supposed to be silent? Are they supposed to live in shame about who they are if everybody else in class is talking about their mommy and their daddy and, oh, I've got 2 mommies, but I can't talk about it? Is that what you want to happen? Somebody put these motherfuckers on the spot and make them defend their bigotry and their ignorance. Why isn't that happening? Why are we not seeing more of Senator McMorrow? Because that was brilliant.
It is brilliant. It was brilliant, and we do need to see more of that. I think, I think that people are standing up in places, and a lot of times we just don't see it because the media doesn't cover it, and so that's why it's really important for us to be paying attention so that we can help to make those moments go viral when they happen. Because otherwise they're just going to go unnoticed. But point taken. I mean, it's not that was a lesson in a masterclass lesson in slapping back. I mean, it was really. I mean, like, put her in her place. The woman who made those initial accusations. She's just a horrible QAnon person from Michigan, and this is how you effectively respond to that kind of crap. So it is a lesson for everybody. I hope that more politicians will take heed. There have been moments. There's been some Tim Ryan moments and some other folks, not specifically on the grooming topic, but on other topics who've helped to school all of us on and all of their peers on how to respond to Republican bullshit. But they're too few and far between, for sure.
I mean, is it when we were talking about how the Democrats tend to police ourselves more than the other side does. I mean, there was nothing that Senator McMorrow said that was false. Everything she said was fact, and it was true, and it was like, it was real.
Yeah.
I understand not fighting fire with fire on the disinformation, but she just brought the facts. Look at this. We have jobs. We have record job creation in this first year of the Biden presidency. Unemployment back down to 3.6%. Infrastructure. We spent 4 years without an infrastructure deal being passed, despite, being told constantly we were going to get that was going to happen. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed. Now, that's typically not something that we get up for. It's the folks on the right that are like, that was why a lot of people disregarded all of the weaknesses of the Trump candidacy, right. All of his bullshit, because they knew he could deliver some conservative justices. Yep. We can get up for and we should get up for justices too, because on the other side, they are looking to do a whole lot of shit to women's choice, for instance, for choice. The right to choose what to do with your body is under assault by what's his face? God damn it, Texas, help me out. Abbott. Thank you, Texas, and all the surrounding states, Oklahoma.
Yep.
These should be issues that it's a no-brainer. Tax, Social Security. Rick Scott wants to eliminate Social Security and Medicare. Are you kidding me, bro?
They have terrible ideas, like really, really bad, unpopular ideas. The problem is that talking about policy is hard because it's not. It's hard to thread that needle to get people to want to share and amplify. Hey, we passed the infrastructure bill. Like, how many times can we say that, right? I mean, and have people like throw a parade again for the infrastructure bill. So I think it's really important for us to focus this year narratively on vision, on what the Democratic vision is for this country, and contrast it as starkly as possible with what the Republican vision is, because their vision is distasteful. It is not something that people want. The Democratic ideas are way more popular than Republican ideas. And they're going to try and hook us and get us fighting in the mud about just their culture war stuff. They want us to fight on their turf. And so it's going to be really important for us to flood the zone with narratives that are pro worker. And part of that is also acknowledging the fact, yes, we can say Biden boom, we can say Democrats deliver. Both of those things are true. And we should acknowledge that. But we also have to acknowledge as messengers that people's lived experience, people's lives, yes, they may be employed, but we're still underpaid. We're working too many hours.
And
prices are going up.
Yeah. So when we talk about a Biden boom, they hit us back with inflation, gas prices, food prices. What is the response? What is the correct retort to
it's
that?
Tough. It's tough. I mean, I think boiling inflation is going to be a key topic this year. Yeah. And so we have to, the truth is that a combination of corporate greed and COVID caused inflation. That's the truth. And so,
Yeah.
you know, to whatever extent we can, we have to help people understand that. And then pivot to, okay, what do they want to do about it? They want to keep the Trump tax cuts for billionaires, and they want to pay for that by raising taxes on
people who can't
everybody
afford
else.
it. Yeah.
And cutting Social Security and Medicare. I mean, these are incredibly unpopular ideas. So that's got to be where we go. Rick Scott gave us gold in his Republican plan.
Indeed.
For 2024, and we have to take advantage of that.
So that then is the retort to the whole inflation thing. We'll survive. I believe we will survive the inflation. It's not going to be forever.
Right.
Knock on wood.
Right. Although it's clear that they are doing everything that they can to make inflation worse, because it helps them politically. So that's
you got Abbott holding up trucks. What is some bullshit, you know?
Yeah. It's tough. It's not good. We're not in a good spot. But.
All right, Nick, I want to I want to give folks a chance to ask you some questions. So, viewers, here is your opportunity. Nick Knudsen is here to take your questions. Let's keep them clean, please. Let's see. I'm seeing comments right now. Wilbur McCarthy says, protect women's rights, vote blue. Can't agree with you more, buddy.
And come June, when this country faces the fact that this court is going to strike down Roe, this is going to be a key topic for this year, and we have to be ready for that. It's disgusting. But it's reality. So, yep.
The Trump Reaper says Tennessee has made it illegal to be homeless. Jesus Christ would have been penalized under this law. Meek Spees says Nick should check out Dental and Flanham. Are you familiar with Dental and Flanham?
I am not.
I'm not familiar with Meek Spees. You gotta inform us. What is that? Oh, damn it! It's Meek Spees music group.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. Philosophy says, Nick, there is such a disconnect with the leaders of the Democratic Party and our base. At least it feels that way. What's the deal?
Yeah. What is the deal?
What do you think?
I think that there are some people in elected Democrats who do a really good job at connecting with the base, and there are others who don't. I would love to see more engagement, like open conversation engagement between Democratic leadership and people in the base. It's a really hard thing logistically to do when you're trying to keep the wheels on the government and legislate and run the federal government as they are with the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. So I get it. It's hard. It's hard to do that. But I think that there are some things that they could do narratively that would help people feel like they're listening and that they're more connected. So.
That damn Alaskan wants to know favorite brewery in Portland.
Good question. This is a really good question. So I really like Ecliptic. It's a great beer. They have a great IPA, Starburst IPA. It's my favorite.
I don't know these terms of which.
Yeah. There's a couple of restaurant breweries called Fire on the Mountain. That's a combo of brewery and wings. Really, really excellent chicken wings. So those are a couple of my favorites.
Excelente. Let's see. We got Lee Saunders asking, don't you think there should be more effort to hold Trump, Ginny Thomas, etc. accountable for the coup?
Yes. One thing that I will say is I actually think that the January 6th committee is doing a really, really amazing job. And I think that will become more apparent in the next couple months.
The public hearings?
Yeah. There is a plan behind all this, and they're trying to draw a narrative arc, I think.
Timing?
I think they're
You think it has to do with timing?
maybe.
You don't. You typically you don't want to peak too early with stuff, right? Let's say if these hearings were done and over with by June, then all of a sudden you have July, August, September. We're dealing right now with national consciousness that has the attention span of a tsetse fly. Just cannot pay attention for more than 5 minutes on one particular issue.
Right. Yeah. No. You know what? I think if you ask the people in the committee, they would say we're doing our due diligence. There's a ton of information here. That is all true. I think that they have big staff, and they've been stuff has continued to come out, and they've had to investigate. They're doing a good job. And but yeah, I mean, I think if you caught somebody at a bar, after hours some night at the right moment, you could probably get one of them to admit that the timing matters narratively to help keep this issue in the American zeitgeist as we head into the midterms, because it is directly related to electoral politics.
We have Monique Lee asking the question, Nick, what do you think about Elon Musk threatening a hostile takeover of Twitter?
I'm really worried about it.
Why?
Honestly, because I think he's got pseudo-fascist tendencies, and there was this great, I think it was a Lukovich political cartoon from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution last week that had Musk pulling in a Trojan horse that said free speech on it, and then in the belly of it was Donald Trump with his cell phone. I think there's this idea on the right that they like to talk about free speech. You're taking away my free speech. Free speech relates to the government. It doesn't relate to private companies. Twitter is a private company. Facebook is a private company. These places are under no edict. They can have their own policies about what type of content is permissible on their platforms. And he's way too far on the sort of anarchist, free speech side for me, and I worry about it.
And they love the ability to say whatever the hell they want to say. They don't want to deal with any of the consequences of, hey, you know what? You're a shitty person. They don't want to be held accountable for the shitty statements they make.
That is not only untrue, it's harmful to people and potentially, instigating things like insurrections. I mean, you can do a lot of damage on social media, and social media platforms have to have a social awareness around that. And I do not believe that he is the guy who will help to make that happen on Twitter. So yeah, it's worrying.
Okay, Nick, it is now that part of the show where it is our guessing game, my friend. And this is where you get to choose between one of 4 different topics. We have name that 80s tune. We have name that Billy Joel song.
Okay.
Name that Prince song. Or name that movie quote.
Whew. Oh my gosh. Well, if I'm just being kind to myself, probably this name that movie quote is I'm most likely to be successful. My music my music tends to hover more in the jazz and blues realm, and so I'm not sure I would do super well in the other ones.
Okay, so there it is. Name that movie quote. So here's how it works, right? I'm going to read a quote from a certain movie, and you have to guess what movie that is. Okay. And if you get it right, then you get the look of approval there from Drake. If you get it wrong, then you get the disapproving.
Excellent. I'm going to see that face a lot. I have a feeling, but let's see how it goes.
I don't know. Let's see. I have faith in you. Here's the first one. You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am.
I swear I know where that's from. No, it's not in the database.
I'm going to read it one more time.
Okay.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. No, nothing? Oh, my friend. We was looking for, hold on.
Oh,
We was
gosh.
looking for On the Waterfront.
Oh, man.
And let's see, hang on. Let's see. Who do we have guessing here? Lee Saunders is at the top
nice,
guessing
Lee.
here.
Good job.
On the Waterfront. That was spoken. That famous line was spoken by Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I knew it was Brando just from your voice. Very well done, by the way.
Thank you. Okay, here's the next one. Inconceivable.
Princess Bride.
Ah! There you go.
Give me the Drake.
Hang on.
This might be the only one I get right.
So
there we
that
go.
was Princess
Shawn.
Bride.
Yep.
Inconceivable was right. And there
There we
you go. There's Drake with the look of approval. Well done, my friend. Well done. All right, let's see. Let's go back to there. And boom. Okay, here's the next one.
Okay, ready.
Oh, wait, let me see. Did anybody else get that? Oh, Cindy C. is approving. She says, wow, that was quick. Her favorite movie.
Nice.
And Michelle says, never go in against a Sicilian.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, here's the next one. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Ooh, I don't know.
Dude. For real? Okay. I'm not going to shame you, but we were looking for
Oh,
Babe.
I should know that. I've got kids.
Babe, yes. So
Classic James Cromwell.
So yeah.
There we go. That's a good one.
Let's see. And Scribble My Dibbles. That's my sister, by the way. Mama Nick 19.
Nice.
My sister is watching, and yes, she did guess Babe. She also has the 4 children's, 4 of them.
Wow.
So yeah, she would get that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. You ready?
Ready.
Louie, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Louie, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
I know I need to know what this is, but
I'll give you another quote from the same movie.
okay.
Play it again, Sam.
Is that it's not Gone with the Wind?
Oh, no, it is not. I'm so sorry.
What
So
is
sorry.
it?
We were looking for Casablanca.
Oh, Casablanca. I knew that.
Casablanca.
I will admit it has been probably 29 years since I've seen that movie. Yeah, I earned that though. I mean, that's just like a cultural cornerstone thing that you just have to know whether or not you've seen it.
Yeah, that's a famous. That's a pretty famous
That's a
movie.
bad one. Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. I think you're gonna get this one.
Is this
I have a
torture almost?
feeling. I have a feeling this is it. Here. You ready?
I'm ready.
Because there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball.
A League of Their Own. Tom Hanks.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. That's a classic. Any baseball movies you could get me with. I'm a huge baseball fan.
And he recovers. That was A League of Their Own. And let's see, what do we have here? Boom. There you go. Well done, my friend.
Yep.
Okay, this next one I feel is a little bit challenging, but for some reason I think you got this one. My father taught me many things here. He taught me in this room. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Is this a Godfather movie?
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
So if it were, which one would it be?
2?
Hey!
I got it. Nice. I have watched each of the Godfather movies multiple times. Those are good flicks.
You did get it. Hold on. Boom. Here we go. Godfather 2. And let's see. We are you're back on the. You're actually you're doing well there. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see. You got Princess Bride. You got League of Their Own. So you're 3 for 6 right now.
I'm batting 500, as they say in baseball.
That's right. Okay. Let's see. Boom. Boom. Here's the next one. That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we going to do now? What are we going to do?
I have no idea.
That's a little bit tough. That was from the movie Aliens.
Oh,
Aliens. Wow. That was Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't get the cowbell.
No,
I'm sorry.
No.
Let's see.
Wow, I don't remember that at all from Aliens.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorite lines. What are we gonna do? Game over,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. No,
Game
it sounds
over.
classic. I don't know why I don't remember that.
Okay, here's the next one. Hey, man, what'd you do all last summer again? I told you. I spent it with my uncle in Alaska hunting wolverines. Gosh.
Napoleon Dynamite. It's like you're good. You're good with the voices. That helped me pull that one out.
Dude, I'm totally the movie guy. It's my favorite thing. One of my favorite things to do. Gosh.
That's a classic.
Okay, and let's see. So, there we go.
Nice.
You get Leonardo.
Sweet.
Okay, and here's the last one. We got one more.
Oh wow! So I'll either be batting above 500 or below 500. I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know that I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. I've been saying that shit for years. And if you heard it, that meant your ass. I never gave much thought to what it meant. I just thought it was some cold-blooded shit to say to a motherfucker before I popped a cap in his ass.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah!
That was a good Samuel L. Jackson. Nice work.
Thank you. And let's see. And there we go. Lee Saunders also got it correct.
Lee's got some movie stuff going.
Yeah, she does. She does indeed. And boom.
Nice.
And you see, we'll give you Drake again. You finished above 500. Well done, my friend. Everybody doesn't perform that well, so give yourself a pat on the back. You did it.
Thank you, sir.
And let's see. Last but not least, wait. Hang on. Here we go. Last but not least, we have my favorite things. This is a rapid fire thing. I'm sorry I've gone a little bit longer than I planned, but I did have a really nice discussion with you.
Yeah, this
today.
has been fun.
Let's see. And so basically what this is, I'm just going to ask you, there are no wrong answers.
My favorite kind of game.
Okay. And here we go. Favorite cartoon from childhood?
You know, I really liked the Animaniacs when I was in middle school. That was that was classic for me.
Indeed. Okay. Favorite current cartoon? And I ask that because you have young kids now. They do watch cartoons, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Favorite current cartoon. You know, my son. Well, so there's for the older kids. There's Camp Cretaceous on Netflix. It's like a Jurassic Park cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty entertaining. For the younger kids, We Bare Bears is pretty funny. That's on HBO.
We Bare Bears.
We Bare Bears.
I feel like I've seen a commercial for that. Yeah. Okay. Favorite national park?
Zion, I think.
Where is that?
Zion is in southern Utah. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah, sort of southwestern canyon cliffs. Beautiful.
Have you been to a lot of national parks?
Yeah. I mean, maybe a dozen.
See, I was right. You are an outdoorsy guy. I know these things. I know I'm from New York. We know when we see the outdoorsy guy. We're outdoorsy. Favorite comedian?
That's a good one. I have always really loved Chris Rock. Yeah, I'll go with Chris Rock.
That's a good one. You can't go wrong there. Favorite sports team?
San Francisco Giants.
Ooh, you were quick on that one.
Oh yeah,
Giants.
I moved to the Bay Area in June of 1989, about 3 months before the '89 earthquake during the Giants A's World Series, I've been a Giants fan ever since Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell days.
Okay. You're going way back.
Yep.
Favorite living politician?
Ooh. I might piss some people off here. Let me think.
I said there's no wrong answer. Your answer is your answer. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Favorite living politician. At the moment, honestly, I would say Zelensky.
That is a good answer. It's a very good answer. Favorite dead politician?
I'm going to go with Lincoln.
It's safe.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
It's like Lincoln FDR, you know?
You can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong. Favorite singer or group?
Well, it depends on the era of my life. If it's college Nick, it's Dave Matthews Band.
Right now, you can only listen to one singer or group. You got to pick.
You know, probably just the thing that I listen to most, and that my family listens to most, is Brandy Carlisle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite Twitter account?
At Nick Knudsen US. No. There's a great messaging person named Anat Shankar Osorio, and her Twitter address is Anat 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 Asaurus.
Anat Asaurus.
Yeah. She's got some great insight into messaging. So I check her stuff out every day.
I'm going to check it out. Yeah. Have you retweeted some of her tweets on your? I'm going to check it out. Beard or no beard?
Beard.
Okay. Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Pizza is winning, by the way. Based on my interviews, pizza is winning. It's not even close. Bagel or
That's tough.
Two very different, but they're the same. Round.
I'm gonna go donut, but it's close. Buttermilk bar,
Coffee.
specifically.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah. No contest.
Or tea.
I'm in the Ted Lasso camp of tea appreciation.
He says it's dirty water. I love Ted Lasso. Love him. Yep. If you could live anywhere, where would that be?
I love Santa Fe, New Mexico.
I've been there. I've been there one time. It's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
If you could do any job for one day, what would that be?
I would love to manage a Major League Baseball team for one day.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. And last but not least, any particular charities or foundations / organizations close to your heart or that you support?
Oh, many. Southern Poverty Law Center, ACLU are at the top of my list. Anything civil liberties related, that's really, really important work, especially now.
It is. It is. Indeed. Nick, I want to thank you again for joining me on Storytime with BDD. I appreciate your dragging your ass out of your sick bed. Yeah, and I appreciate your friendship over the years. You got me engaged in politics in a way, like I was already kind of engaged in politics just through Twitter, and it was, but I was in a real world sense engaged in a way that I will never forget, and it is it's excited me about this whole process, and I'm looking forward to the midterms this year. I think people are going to be surprised. Right now, people are down on Democrats because it seems like the Republicans, they have this bullshit narrative, whatever the hell it is, and we haven't figured out how to counter it effectively. But I think we got a glimpse of it from that senator, and I think organizations like yours are critical. I said this in my intro that you are one of the most important people on Twitter, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, buddy. Like this DemCast thing, you have the ability to reach 10 to 30,000 volunteers in a heartbeat and get them engaged in ways that could flip the election. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you have in store. With it's DemCast. So there's two sites. There's one is demcastusa.com and the other one is demcast.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So folks, if you want to get engaged, if you want to get involved, go to this website, sign up. It's really, really easy. There are ready-made tweets for you. All you have to do is, pop it open. They've got a picture, they've got links, and you can change the tweet if you want. What it says, it's easy peasy. I've done it myself. And once again, Nick, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Hold tight while I say good night to my viewers here. You guys, thank you again for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. And if you have not yet gotten your shot, do it, because there's stupid people out there and you can't control what they do, but you can control what you do. If you are so inclined to wear a mask, Also, please do so. Don't be shamed or bullied into not wearing it. Huh? Keep your social distance 6 feet or better. And I look forward to seeing you guys here. What is it? Friday, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.